How to set up and implement authentication for web application. In this video, we'll go over the common features that authentication might have, how social login OAuth 2.0 works in a brief, just to understand it better, tools and services that you might want to use, and then we will do example OAuth setup with Supabase. So common features, often the most basic authentication is with email and password. For that, you don't necessarily need a third-party service, even though services like Supabase provide that. And if you integrate with them, you should probably use them. But if you don't use it, Supabase, but other service, then you can do it yourself, and with the help of Cursor, you should get pretty far. Second common feature is passwordless sign-in. When you sign in with email every time you try to log in, so then no passwords get stored. That also can be implemented on your own, but you can use service for that as well. And then social sign-in, OAuth 2.0, sign-in with Google and other services. That's the more tricky one. As well, you can implement it yourself, but we will go over an example today of a tool that you can use instead. So briefly, how social sign-in works. I just want to give this example so you have a better idea. If in a regular use case you send in your email and password and back you get either granted access or not, and then there's a cookie or JWT token that gets stored on the browser. Then in this case, it's a bit more complex. First, you request that to the service that you try to log in that you would want to sign in with Google. Then you get access to that. You get a link that you get redirected to. Then you sign in with Google on that link. You receive back access token. And with that access token, you come back to the service. Every time you make a request to the database, you use that access token. That's a very simplified way how it works. And these services we will look at today, they remove this complexity, so you don't need to think about it. So here are a few of them. Supabase is my recommendation if you use Supabase database, and that's your stack of choice. Clerk is an option if as a second best alternative, and it has a free tier up to 10,000 users. Firebase, also a very popular option from Google, might be the best option in a few occasions, also when you use other services from Google. And NextAuth, this would not use any external services. You would implement the whole authentication flow yourself. It's not required, but some of these services just can make your life a bit more simpler. So these are a few options you can go with. And for NextAuth, there's plenty of examples that you can use as a starter to go with. But in this video, we will focus on an example project. We'll use this Vercel template, which has setup. We'll try to set it up. I haven't done it yet, and try to go over and see how far we can take this. So let's go. So yeah, this is the template that we will use, and first thing we will do, we'll say deploy. It took way longer time than I expected, and more than half an hour to make it work. And I didn't touch code at all. It was just pressing buttons on Supabase interface and on GitHub, because this authentication was done with GitHub. So I encourage you to try this out yourself, and I'm sure that you, by the end, half an hour, you'll get to a working application. Subscribe, and if you have any other topics that you want me to cover, let me know.